this is a men's rights. What you're doing right now is fighting for men's rights to access women's spaces.
Well,
This is a men's rights group here that you're joining here. Sadly, I was just telling her this is men's. She was talking about how there's no women hanging up on the wall, but this, but I mean in this section here, and it's.
there's a Civil War nurse around the corner.
But this is a men's rights group here. They're fighting for the right for men to access women's spaces here.
Yes.
It's really sad. And these ladies behind me were saying that it's okay for penises to be, for little girls to be exposed to penises in their spaces.
I had brothers. I don't have a problem. I just think this is a minuscule part of a little issue. Minuscule part.
And they would expose themselves to you intentionally often? Your brothers?
See, why do you think it's about sex? It's not. And if somebody's going to use the bathroom, they're going to probably go in the stall.
Are you a sex assault survivor yourself or anything like that?
Yes,
Experience
I am.
like that?
Yes, I
Well,
am.
I have that
It's always
experience
been
as well.
older white married men that have been the rapists.
You live in a state which is majority white, so that's going to be an issue. I mean, I just generally don't see a lot of people of color anyway.
Right.
That's not
But
the issue.
I'm just saying, it's not young boys that are typically. It's not little kids. It's not little kids.
I get that, but I'm talking about accidents on purpose, and that's what a lot of sex offenders will use to expose themselves to women. They pretend to have an accident, their pants fell down, stupid things like that. Oopsie, my underwear just fell off. Those are the problems that they use to disguise the sex offenses that they're doing. I don't know if you've ever talked to any sex offenders and had like an honest conversation with them, but I've done that with hundreds of sex offenders
And
myself.
sex offenders are to be kept away from schools. Right? So
That-
again,
that's optimal,
sexual
yes.
abusers are of every sex, race, color, creed.
Predominantly male.
Predominantly male. But again, I don't think this is the issue.
But
I think
the
this is a
problem here
distraction.
is that we're letting men into women's spaces and giving them free access to expose themselves or look at exposed women.
Nonsense. These people, can you imagine growing up in a body where you didn't feel
I played
at
sports
home?
when I was in high school.
These
There
are
were
not
plenty of women
offenders.
that were
These are not
Amazons.
people who have-
Sex
But I am not
offenders
going to kick
just
them
want
off
to
the
be
sports team
accepted
because
by
they're
us.
stronger than me. If I wanted to get better at a sports, the first thing I did was play with somebody better than me.
Do you think that men are generally stronger than women, though? I mean, aren't
Typically,
they?
I don't know. I could
Not
beat up some of my
always.
brothers.
Not always, but
Older brothers.
generally, probably.
Generally. So why do they have?
Is this happening all the time? I don't see this. Okay. Yes, I have
I think
experienced
yes, it is.
sexual abuse.
I think it is, and I think a lot of women don't want to talk about it because they don't want it to get worse. That's usually the first
But
way
it's
people
not
react to being
trans
sexually
people.
abused.
It's not trans people.
Well, there's no
It's
card.
their husbands.
There's
It's
no
their
card.
fathers.
They don't have to show a card to get
Their
access.
boyfriends. It is not trans.
To get
I
access
don't
to
care.
what?
There
Women's
are rates for that.
spaces.
That's true.
To
I
get
agree
what?
with that.
These
any-
men don't have to prove they're trans to get access to women's spaces. They don't have to prove that they're not sex offenders.
How are you going to prove anything? If I got a butch haircut and I look kind of masculine, are you going to say don't use the men's room?
You don't look
How
like
are
a
you
man
going to
to me.
prove?
You
But
don't
it
sound
doesn't
like a
matter.
man.
What if I did? So are you going to say that I can't walk into that bathroom because you're questioning whether I'm male or female? How are you going to do this?
How do you tell the difference between a male and a female?
I don't personally care. I don't personally care.
Don't
We
you
all
think there
have
are-
to go to the bathroom.
Don't you think there are women that do care? Would
Yes,
you send
there
your
probably are.
Would you send your young daughter to the bathroom to the men's room?
I
would
usually
you
go, when my daughter was little, I went
You
with
would
her.
send her to the men's room, and that would be okay with you.
I do not do that. That's what I'm saying. When my child was little, I went to the bathroom with her.
Or if you saw a man go into the ladies' room, would you send your granddaughter into the ladies' room with that
I
man?
wouldn't send somebody that wasn't able to make a decision and help themselves. But generally, people go in the bathroom because they
So
got to
you
go
have
to the
a
bathroom.
10-year-old. That's an age when we're not sure if the girls can go to the bathroom by themselves. It's getting to that point. But would you say to your 10-year-old granddaughter, and you just saw a man go into the ladies' room, would you say, go ahead in
You can
there?
wait if you to
You
me,
would wait,
if you
right?
are
You would wait.
concerned. Well, you're making trans people wait forever. In Idaho, they passed a law that they can't use any bathroom.
They can
Is
go.
that
They
fair?
can go into a man's room.
No, they can't.
I
They,
don't think
they,
it's-
they,
I don't-
if they are this is what I'm saying. They're trying to mess with it to the point of they have no rights. And I'm just saying, it's not fair.
I think women are the ones that are getting no rights in this bargain. Yeah, we don't have bathrooms that we can call our own. Our bathrooms are whatever the guys, guys
Make
that
them
want
all
to go in
generic
there.
then. You know, when I was in Europe and I went to, I got off the bus and we had to use the bathroom.
I made that suggestion here at the State House, and they're offended by it. That I say use the single stall bathroom. They're offended. They say I don't want to be relegated to the basement. They think that's an insult. Well, security has offices in the basement.
In the women's side and just make it a
So
bathroom.
do you not agree that that's offensive to say use a single stall bathroom? You think that's a solution as well?
Well, I don't think they should have to jump through hoops. How about the women that were on the NASA team that years and years ago, and they had to run across the parking lot and go several miles to use the bathroom because there was no woman's bathroom.
Put a women's bathroom in there, okay? Put a women's bathroom in there. I went to a vocational high school, and I had to go to the other side of the school because I was the only girl on my side of the school. I had to go to the other side. Fine, that's better than me going into the men's room. And I wouldn't do it, even though it was suggested to me I go into the men's room.
She
And I was going
survived
to
the
say,
experience.
Taking a risk. I'm not blurring the lines. I'm not going into the men's room with a bunch of
But
men
I've
that are
gone
already
into men's room. I've
harassing.
gone into a men's room because if I have to go to the bathroom and the woman's line is around the corner and there's no line
You
for the men's.
announced that it was a situation that was unusual when you did it. And you said, I'm poking in here, excuse me, I hope you don't mind. It's a situation where there's no other bathroom right now, I really have to go.
Trying to make
It's an
label
unusual
every
situation.
trans person a pedophile or a sexual abuser.
What are the rates of men who are presenting as women and their sex offenses when those people are in prison versus men who... That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I have a right to talk about that. I have a right to talk about it because we can't keep ignoring it. It's not safe. So those rates, do you know anything about those rates? Do you know anything about those studies?
Trans people.
Yes, I do.
Do you have a friend?
Why do you? I'm a little offended that you think I don't know. When I probably know more than you because I'm trying to study something and talk to you about it, and you want to keep your head in the sand. I'm trying to talk to you about a study out of the United Kingdom. And I'm trying to talk to you about rates of men who have been incarcerated and those that are in there for sex offenses. And based upon whether or not they're... Listen to me. I'm trying to make a point here. I've studied it, and I'm offended that you think I've never met any. I don't know any, and I have no... I am offended because I have to use the ladies' room with Stacy Lawton. What do you think of that? I had to use the ladies' room with Stacy Lawton. Would you want to do that? Would you want your granddaughter in there? I doubt it. When you know about that person, you're going to say no.
I worked at a place where a woman said, I'm not going in the bathroom and so-and-so's in there because they're trans. I'm sorry, it's not an issue. It's not an issue.
And it wasn't an issue with
If
Stacey
you're
Lawton?
worried about your granddaughter, don't let your granddaughter go in.
And what choice do we have when we send them to the State House? Parents don't know that. You're okay with Stacy Lawton using the bathroom with your trans daughter? With your daughter, rather.
I don't
Or your
know.
granddaughter.
I'm laughing because how many, it's just like the people that say, oh, when they go to school, they're having an operation and changing their sex.
No,
That's the crazy stuff that...
No, they're
trying to-
socially transitioned. That's a little different.
They're not
That's the first step.
transitioned either. No,
Do you have any children in school at this time?
No, my daughter's 39 now. She somehow made it through. She made it through.
Well, they didn't start this till a few years ago.
Yeah, well, you know what? There were people all along. This is we're trying to say. They think Plato was gay. Okay, they think all of these people.
Why are you bringing up gay? What's that got to do with
Well,
this?
gay,
Hey,
trans,
no, don't touch me.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Don't touch me. We are going to film you.
If you're
I
in
am
public,
filming you.
if you're in public and you have a conversation with somebody, you can pretend this being public. Okay? You want to hold your sign, you want people to know your opinion, but you don't want to back it up with words. You know, I think, women are supposed to be stronger than that. We're supposed to be able to debate these issues and use facts to do so.
Right, but we're at the point where you're not going to convince me, and I'm not going to convince
Because you have your head in the sand.
No, I could say the same thing about you.
Well,
It's not head in the sand.
When I asked you if you knew anything about the rates of sex offending with men who present as female versus males who present as male that are incarcerated, you don't want to know. And what that tells me is you have your head in the sand because you don't want to know.
Because I only have so much time in my life, and I don't want to spend it on bathrooms.
But you're going to sit here for half an hour before that hearing starts and do nothing when I could educate you.
Thanks for the education.